I'm a picking, and I'm a grinning. Where is this guy? There you go. That's what I was waiting for.
Howdy, partner.
There you go. Some of that 11-year-old old man sound.
You know, I used to tease everybody about that, but as I've gotten older, even my wife will say it. I occasionally make the weirdest sound for no falling into a chair.
Oh yeah. How about for me? It's anything that has to do with the chair.
Yeah.
Looking at the chair.
Yeah. And no reason, just getting up. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, it just feels better. It's like I don't know. It's like casting out foul, evil spirits or something. Somebody was doing it in the car on the way home from school yesterday too, if I remember right. Casting out some foul, evil spirits. Right, Skylar?
What?
Well, Billy, National Football League. There's a lot going on, and some of it's actually happening during before the whistle blows, like between during the plays. Some stuff's happening.
I think we should all step back and applaud outside of the preseason and I guess just this last week. How about Jerry Jones taking a step back, not being in the news outside of the stuff with Dak, but we all kind of figured that was not drawing unwanted attention to himself this year. Jerry Jones, I applaud you this year.
So you were serious before the show started when you threw Jerry out there for MVP.
I was.
When Skylar went silent.
Give it to him. Give it to him.
Well, he's the most valuable person in Dallas for sure, or valued.
I would say so, yeah.
Yeah. There's some people down there with some money though. Remember our friends at St. Mark's?
Yeah, but do they have Jerry Jones money?
Well, one of them was Ross Perot. He was in pretty good shape. Another one was the Dorothy and Lamar Hunt. So they're in pretty good shape. And then Hicks, I think, was one of them, the guy that owned the Rangers. And
yeah.
So let's say they're breathing that rare air, if not quite up to the top of the Jones Mountain.
How long?
Boy, you got to keep up with the Joneses. That gets harder down in that part of the world, doesn't it?
How many more years, really, do you think he will own the Cowboys? I mean, just one day he's going to not be here anymore, and
well, I mean, I think his son
Steven's going to have it.
Yeah. I'm not sure Jerry's even still alive, frankly. I mean, he's had so many
he's a hologram.
He could be like Weekend at Bernie's, except it's like football season at Jerry's. You know, they just prop him up and he's skiing one day out on Grapevine Lake or something. I don't know.
Yeah, he could just show up at Coachella one year as a hologram.
That's right. Who would know? He could be, or Burning Man.
There you go.
That's a interesting thing to be a part of. My company's actually a part of Burning Man. I've not been invited. I apparently don't fit the demographic, which is people that can still walk and talk and remember where their glasses are, which isn't me.
Also, those people that make that weird sound falling into chairs.
That's right. Or getting out of them. For me, it's getting out of them. I can fall into them pretty good. Usually the chair makes the sound when I'm falling into it. When I'm getting up from the chair, I usually have to ask for help.
That chair sound is, oh, not again.
That's right. But the beauty of it is, after all that time, the chair and I basically become the same thing once I'm down into it. It just kind of forms around me, kind of like a mattress. Laying there. It's like I got to climb uphill to get to the middle of my bed. And I've lost weight. I don't get it. Let's talk NFL, Bill. New England. Brady seems to be a little upset with the offense. Is that his way of griping about the coordinator, or what's all there? You said you had some interesting things to share with us. I'm all ears.
That was for the NBA. Here I have nothing.
Oh, cool. That's good.
No, it's, there's going to be a point in time with New England, and maybe this is finally it, right? That we all fully understand the season itself for New England is over. We don't need the regular season for New England anymore. Just pass them on into the playoffs, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting bored. They're getting a little stagnant. Maybe they're trying some
Well, that's
stuff.
a great point.
But it's also a combination of, is New England really good, or is just their conference just terrible? Or, I mean,
Yeah. Of course, we've also said that part of the reason their division is so bad is because they're so good that everybody's got you know, 6 losses right
yeah.
there.
I think the more interesting news that comes out of New England is Tom Brady's last year. Is he going to re-sign? Is he going somewhere else? Is this really it? Because I'll tell you where a good fit might be for Mr. Tom Brady. Because if you watch the Monday night game, Phillip Rivers is done.
Yeah, do you really think you'll see Brady wearing a different uniform? And I'm saying that fully understanding that I saw Joe Montana in a Kansas City Chiefs uniform.
I'll be honest, I never thought I'd see Emmitt Smith wear another uniform.
Yeah.
And I will say this, so Joe Montana and Emmitt, when you talk about guys going to different teams, I mean guys that have really stuck around one team for the majority of their career.
Of the team. Yeah.
Those two guys in particular are the only two guys I've really seen go on and play, I would say, exceptionally well for their age and what you thought that they were going to be. Now, when you get into the case of Tom Brady, I don't think he'll have that same kind of success. I think he'll be good, but I don't think he will be Tom Brady that we're used to seeing Tom Brady.
So you really think he may end up somewhere else?
I think just for 1 year.
Yeah.
I mean, just because Belichick's always had that system, and I felt like Belichick has always wanted to kind of get rid of Tom Brady, even probably about 4 years ago.
Yeah, but I mean, who's his replacement now? It's not Jimmy G.
I think at the time it was Jimmy G. Now I don't know who. I mean, what is it, Barkley that's backing him up now or something like that? I mean, I don't know who you get in there. I mean, and do you make a play? I mean, they've always got draft picks, so you could make them or have them make a run at a Lawrence or somebody like that this year if you really felt that way. But
yeah,
I also think New England's also set up to plug and play too, so where you could probably find just about any quarterback out on free agency.
How about the kid from Oregon?
Yeah, I mean that's another guy too. It depends on how far they fall. Who knew Daniel Jones was going to be Daniel Jones? I mean, he's looked a lot better than a lot of the other quarterbacks that come out, say Trubisky, that's come out in more recent years.
Let me throw another name at you. What about Burrow from LSU?
Yeah.
You know, maybe he's got one more year, and then, I mean, because that guy kind of fits that.
If I know New England, it's somebody that's playing like
somebody at Weber State.
Yeah, it's going to be, you know, like Minnesota got lucky one year and found Tavares Jackson or Culpepper and played really well for a couple of years. It's going to be somebody just you're not thinking about that manages the game really, really well that can come in and fill that void. I think for a couple of years when he finally decides to hang it up or they move on from him, it's going to be a guy like a Ryan Fitzpatrick that can come in and kind of tide the offense. Unless they make a big jump as far as, again, he's a master of the draft to where he always drafts down and trades out of that position. But maybe I package Jamie Collins and a first round and a second round and a pick to be named later, and I go out and I get a Herbert from Oregon or that kid from down the street, Jalen Hurts. How about that? How about Jalen Hurts in New England?
How about this, Bill? And I know it's not quite the same offense, but we've been talking about that one of the best auditions for a starting job this year has been what Teddy Bridgewater was doing in New Orleans.
That's a solid pick. Always the knock on Teddy from now on is he going to be able to stay healthy? He's shown he's been consistent. He doesn't throw the deep ball particularly well, but let's be honest, at this point in his career, neither does Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Finding a running game for New England, I think, is the biggest issue right now, but Teddy Bridgewater would be a great fit.
Bill, we'll do our Power 5 at the end because we're going to bring Skyler back for his picks and the Sky Q segment to do the Power 5. But let's just want a real quick rundown where we stand and see what you think in terms of who's in and who's out from the playoff picture. New England 9-1.
They're in.
Baltimore 8-2.
And borderline.
Yeah. That Indy Houston game last night, that was a heck of a ball game.
Okay, so Hopkins, right?
Yeah.
We all know his mother lost her vision about 17 years ago.
Yeah.
And every time she sits in the same seat, he goes and finds her, gives her a ball every time he scores.
Yes, yeah.
That dude is solid.
I'm telling you, there aren't many things that aren't related to family and children and grandchildren that gets me too emotional at this point in my life. Actually, that's not true. I can, trip over the carpet and get emotional. But really, when I get emotional nowadays, I just want to grab somebody's football helmet and beat them over the head with it.
That's your go-to.
That's right. But Bill, I mean, I picked Kansas City, to get all the way to the finals, and I'm not sure they're going to win that division. Oakland's sitting there in pretty good shape.
I don't even know what to say about Oakland right now. Like, we all had a rough idea that the high expectations for him, right? They didn't live up to that. And then everybody jumped off the bandwagon immediately. He needs to go back to Monday Night Football.
Right. Well, somebody does, though, because that's hard to watch.
Yes.
Booger McFarland.
Oh, man. At least they got him off the Booger Mobile.
Yeah, that's right. The Booger train.
But what's interesting is maybe John Gruden does know how to reinvent himself and talk to these players now, because they're not looking bad. Now, it helps that they picked up Jacobs, the running back out of Alabama, and that kid's been phenomenal.
Was it Ozzy that sang, "Gotta get the booger off the booger train"? Bill, do you remember when we used to do Del City and the band would try to play Gravy Train in the field house? You'd literally sit there going, is that Black Sabbath? Is that a high school band? Black Sabbath? Because what's next? Insane Clown Posse?
Yes. Going insane.
That's right. Choctaw is going out there. We're gonna do our Linkin Park Insane Clown Posse medley here for all of you '90s kids.
It's gonna come to that at some point.
Oh, I can't wait. That's the best thing about getting old is watching the people that are younger than you start to assume an elderly position that you've long forgotten about, and then you get to go, "Oh yeah, I remember being there."
I always find it tough, and especially with bands, is they'll start playing a song, right, and it takes you a minute to figure out what they're trying to play.
These college and high school bands,
and then you realize it's like a song from like 10 years ago, and you're going, "Oh, okay, I vaguely remember that." Like,
yeah. The worst ones are when they try to play like a ballad, and it's a big marching band, and they're trying to play, I don't know, some Poison ballad or something, Def Leppard or something. And you're going, "Oh my gosh, this is never going to end." It's like, get the French horns out of here.
I will say there are a couple of songs that we just need to get rid of completely. Eye of the Tiger, done with. Let's move on from that. Let's get rid of some of these songs and upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, upgrading is what Dallas has been doing, Bill. They're looking a little bit better. I still don't think they're a factor. On the NFC side, you really got Green Bay and Minnesota that are both playing well. New Orleans is still valid. San Francisco and Seattle. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then whoever comes up. So you got the winner of the East, you got the two teams from the North, you've got the two teams from the West, and then you've got New Orleans. I think we're almost set on the NFC side.
I would say so. And the scariest team out of them all, as far as being underrated, I would not want to play Seattle in the first round.
No.
I still feel like San Francisco's overrated. I can't trust Jimmy G yet. I don't know what happened before he got injured, where he seemed like he was. When you talk about teams that played solid at quarterback.
Sorry, a little more old man noise is coming from the 11-year-old.
He looked like a completely different quarterback from before he got injured to now. Now it's like he's a 50-50 quarterback every time he drops back.
Yeah. Well, and the other side of it is, they may very well be as good as I've said they are. They may very well be.
Right.
But man, it's one thing to look at it this. It's one thing to ascend, and another thing to get up to that level and be there year after year. And Seattle's not going to be intimidated in a first round playoff game. They're not going to come out and go, oh, we've never seen these are bright lights and everything like that. And for that matter, neither is New Orleans or Green Bay. I think the team that really is intriguing on that side to me right now is Minnesota, because to me Minnesota's doing things kind of old school.
Yeah.
Their defense is solid. Kirk Cousins isn't getting them beat, and they can run the football.
They're a strange team to figure out, and that's probably because that's why I like them. Diggs and Thielen, you have probably the best combination of wide receivers in the game. The problem is every game you don't know which wide receiver is going to get the ball. Tight end, and I've said it before, up until like the last 2 weeks, Kyle Rudolph has been non-existent, and this is a guy that you re-upped in the season and gave him a pretty decent-sized contract. Now he's playing like Kyle Rudolph. That was the only thing really missing. It's kind of the OU effect. That was the only thing really missing, and they finally got him involved. They've been riding Dalvin Cook like no other right now, and he has really performed.
Yeah, and he's lived up to, you can see why.
Yeah,
it's just what's he going to have down the stretch?
And what's funny is, so you had Dalvin Cook and you had Lontavius Murray, who are about the same backs last year, and they got rid of Murray, or they let him go, and the Matterson kids played really well. The Ham at fullback has played really well. Irv Smith, the other tight ends, played really well.
Yeah, Irv.
That's a great old man name.
Irv.
So it's collectively...
How's your wife Eunice? Irv.
Collectively, I think they're the best all-around team. Defensively, they're not as strong as they have been in the previous couple of years, but they're still really, really good.
And saying all of that, and I like I said, I kind of set it up that way because I think the same thing. They're still in second place in their own division.
Yeah, but that's because you have an all-time great in Aaron Rodgers.
That's right.
I honestly, I don't care. You could have a 16-0 team, and Aaron Rodgers can be 0-16, and they're playing each other. I'm going to take Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, if he gets the ball last, I'm going with Aaron Rodgers too. On the AFC side, Bill, while we've got time, we mentioned New England. Baltimore is in great shape. I think Buffalo's sitting at 7-3. The way the other divisions are playing out, Buffalo's looking pretty solid because you've got 5-5 Pittsburgh, you've got the Indy and Houston that are right around 500. So only one of those is coming out of there, and certainly only one's coming out of the West, right?
Yeah.
So now, but somebody else has to come out. So you got New England, Baltimore, Buffalo, and then a 7-4 team, and then a bunch of 6-4 teams. So that last spot is going to come down, I think, to the very end of the year. It's going to be one of those situations where you got two teams playing each other, and there's a chance that they might turn around and play each other the next week in the wild card game.
So I'm going to say it's a very low possibility, but the team that could shock everybody again, because everybody was on the bandwagon and jumped off the bandwagon, but because of their schedule and how soft it is outside of one game against the Ravens, the Browns. And do they rally around this whole Myles Garrett thing?
They're 4-6.
I understand, but they play teams like the Dolphins, the Jets, and multiple times. Like their schedule is terrible after this. The only team they play again they do play the Steelers again, but they play the Ravens again at some point. But it is terrible. They should win just about every single game. The Steelers, if they galvanize around Rudolph, I guess, but you lose Pouncey for a couple of games because he went
just one
kickboxer.
Now. Yeah, I think just one. I think it was reduced to one.
It got reduced to one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, it's going to be two because there's no way they're going to let him play the week after.
Yeah.
So,
but Cleveland's lost their premier defensive player.
Yeah, but I think they all have learned that lesson. If you're going to hit with the helmet, put it in your right hand.
All of that may be true, but they're still their head coach is Bozo the Clown. I just don't see them all of a sudden getting functional after being dysfunctional for the first 3 months of the season. But the beauty of this is it'll all play itself out, and then we'll all see that that I was right. So But we will follow this up with because I'm in first place in picks, so there's that. I've dominated the whole year. Just been sitting back waiting my time. No, actually, it takes a lot of guts to sit here and be in the lead the whole season and sit back and not say anything and then be down one and decide you're going to come in and defend yourself. So kudos to you, Skyler, for having the intestinal fortitude to step in.
I'm on the tortoise and the hare program. Eventually, I'm going to get there.
I'm on the tortoise and the gray hair program.
Yeah, you and Walt Clyde Frazier.
That's right. Except he owned, I own a little piece of a restaurant, so yeah, we're good.
You've been listening to Excessive Celebration on Crossover Sports Radio, reminding you, check out those clips on YouTube. Also, get that app. Hey, and by the way, come in to serve today. Enjoy a nice beverage.
Yeah, because it's chilly outside.
It's chilly inside.